Okay, at the beginning of the year, you were in Paris, in Olympia. I was there. It was magnificent. Thank you guys for the show. Perfect. And do you want to share some memories about that night, some special memories with Kokomo or with the crew, with the public? I don't know.
Um, I had the night before the Olympia show. I had the worst gin and tonic of my life next to the hotel. There was a bar that was closed, and the owner was standing around with his sister. And me and a friend knocked and said, "Can we come in anyway?" He said, "Sure." And then he made us like a gin without even watching. He just like had a Schweppes and the gin, and it just went like that in this glass, just like room temperature. And then he put on a football game. And we sat there and we finished our gin and tonic. And then I had the best pho of my life, which is the Vietnamese noodle soup, kids, on the day of the show. And that's a routine. And on a big, important show like the Olympia, there's nothing that like cleanses you up like a nice steaming bowl of pho. Remember that. But I mean, in general, the whole experience just rolling in on the day.
Yeah, it was a great one. I felt kind of like sad when we said thank you, good night, because then that meant it was over. I wanted to be.
That's right, Tom.
Yeah, I
That's what
didn't
it
want
means.
it to be over. I wanted it to last forever. It was what a fantastic crowd.
Yeah. Good night.
Amazing night.
And I would like to thank you for the release of the EP live with extras, because the mix is amazing. The first few seconds when the crowd was so loud, it was amazing just to remember it. It was wow, such an adrenaline shot even for me. Uh,
Even for you.
yeah, just to remember that night. It was yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. It felt like a great, like, little souvenir for us too. Like after restarting after the years that have passed now, that was strange for everybody, of course, and us included. And coming back and realizing that we're still here, like our fans are still here, and the music is still bubbling, kind of, and we're still like growing. And then top it off like the European tour, topping it off with a sold-out show at the Olympia was just like cool. Okay, take a little nice snapshot of this and put it out like a souvenir into the future, kind of. So it's good.
We have an extra souvenir or
Sorry?
not? Can we expect an extra souvenir? Because in the EP you have just 4 or 5 songs. I don't remember. 6 live. So can we expect?
Oh yeah, sorry, 5
More.
on the light EP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't. We have all of them, but no, we
Just a private souvenir.
No, we just felt like it would be cool to release a couple of tracks that we haven't there aren't too many live versions of Back from the Dead, for example. There are no live versions of us playing or released for the Kokomo duet thing, which we started doing after the Taratata TV show where we did it the first time. It was cool. So we just, like we said, just a little souvenir, not like a full-blown live album. I want to save that for another time.
For ourselves.
So at the beginning of summer you released this vinyl with a few extra songs. Why did you choose this kind of stuff or this kind of disc? Is it just by nostalgia? Because you're a big fan of rock band.
It's bigger. And it takes up more space, which is a very Swedish way to approach things. I want the big record. I guess we've kind of grown into streaming by now, like the rest of the world. Like this is where it's at. Nobody buys a fucking CD anymore. I don't know where to. I still have my CDs. There's a wasp. Dear wasp.
Yeah. It was either a vinyl or a mini disc, so I guess we went with vinyl.
Too many songs for a mini disc.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There was a long play version on minidisc. Remember when that happened? When they introduced like the long play LP format for like minidisc, where you could fit like 180 minutes of music on a single minidisc for a while there. It's cool. Yeah.
And then came MP3 player when it was over.
Winamp.
Yeah. Oh, and you can have different skins.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry.
I didn't know this one. In this vinyl, we can find the song called Trippin the Night, and I discovered the story through your Instagram short video. And I have learned that it's a song that we have the luck to listen because it was almost gone in the most.
It was.
So what happened? It was just a failure hard disk. It
It's
was.
just the hard drive just died.
Yeah,
It
okay.
was on the computer. I didn't have a backup, and I was about to get into like, okay, let's do the final vocal stuff, and then get into pre-mixing, preparing the song for mix. And all we had left at the end of the day was this like MP3 that we always, email out the different versions, every little version. Well, no, it was the recording, but it was still like a very rough, just like levels being set. It wasn't like mixed or even pre-mixed. We were supposed to send it off to Michael Ilbert, who always mixes our records. But this time, it was just the hard drive was simply just broken, and we went through all the things we know how to do. We dropped it off at this like ex-FBI super duper data analyst savior salvage guy
Working from his mom's cellar.
exactly. And they charge you up the fucking ass and say maybe I can retrieve something, and he was like, okay, it's getting close, pay me a little more. We're like, okay, a little more. And then after like what, 8K or something, we were like, okay, let's just stick with this version. Nobody's going to hear the difference anyway.
Yeah.
And so
On
first
Spotify or something, it's the MP3, so there is no difference. Yeah.
phone. Okay,
Be careful.
somebody
I want to see the show tonight, so be careful.
I think Hannes is allergic, so
Big hand.
I need to do it for Hannes.
Yeah.
Tell me if I am wrong, but it seems that you have abandoned your metal roots for your past two records to bring a more cheerful side with some funk and rock and roll. So was it just an excuse to dance more on stage?
Honestly, I always felt like the Club Majesty era, which is to me just a natural evolution. It wasn't like a decision, like this is it wasn't like a plan. It just happened, like we do, like the same way Back from the Dead happened, which is like the most metal-ish song we have. We were kind of all over the place. We really don't. We never felt like we belong anywhere. We can't be in anybody's club. Like we're too pop for the rock club, and we're too rock for the pop, and we're like too jazz for metal, and too we don't really fit in. We have our own little slice of land, which is cool. I think we're appreciating that more and more, and just being cool with the fact that we don't need a club. We have our own thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, it wasn't a plan, but we will follow wherever the vibe takes us, really. That's what we've always done, and that's definitely what we're doing for the new record as well, coming out. So.
As you said, you almost answered to the next question, but I think I won't be the only one to ask it. But yeah, where is the new album? Is it in writing session, or you just want to focus on your tour?
I'm here. Steal it. In my Dropbox.
Okay, perfect.
If you know anybody that's a good hacker, you can
You
can pretty much hear like the full demo versions right now. No, we have a couple of more things to tweak and write and pre-produce, and then we're hitting the studio in October.
Yep.
So a new album next year, spring next year.
Do you plan to go back in Olympia or another place?
We can't make any promises yet.
Okay.
The plan is
It will
definitely
be with Live Nation or...
The plans are definitely to come back to France and come back to Paris and come back
You
and do the
always,
thing.
are
But
in
I
Paris,
cannot disclose at this point if we're playing La Flèche d'Or or Stade de France. I simply cannot divulge that information.
We're going to do everything outside of Paris as well. It's kind of cool. Like when we talked about touring France, our manager said, "Oh yeah, you can tour. France is like you tour Paris or you tour France. Like it's two different things, but it's
the first time I discovered you, it was in Strasbourg, in a festival with Trust, Anthrax, Mastodon, and this kind of band. So I was with my father, and it was a blast. So since this festival, I was always on one of your shows in France, in Le Mans or in Paris, with blackout problems. And yeah, it was very cool.
I remember Anthrax. I was sitting next door, and we had a nightliners parked up next to each other with Mastodon. Okay. Just talking to the guitar player, the one with the tattoos in his face.
Okay.
Yeah. Really cool guy. No, I will save that story from that day. I have it.
It's maybe too far.
Australian story. Have I told you that one?
I don't know.
It's like
Who are you?
I'm just a random guitar player. So basically, at the end of we did Soundwave in Australia 2012, and it's basically like a festival that goes from city to city in Australia. And once that was done, they had managed to like, all right, they booked a club. All the bands were invited. Let's go for a party. So all the bands were there partying, and I was sitting down with my backliner, and next to me sat the guitar player, and he was a bit drunk. They just released a new record that I totally was so much in love with. And I was talking to him like, "Hey man, my name is this. I just love your band, and the new record is amazing." And, yeah. And after a while, he came back to me like, "I'm sorry, who was your brother again?" Like, that was his reply. Like, never mind, I'll walk the other way.
So you make a lot of French concerts. I saw you in Les Nuits de l'Erdre. I think it's at it, not so far away from Le Mans.
You pronounce it better.
Maybe. So have you got some special memories from this kind of tour in France? You discovered beautiful cities, I don't know, beautiful food.
Yeah, we actually didn't get to see too much of the cities because when in summer festival season it's usually a lot of like just in and out.
Yeah.
Like today we traveled for 10 hours to get here today. We started at 4 o'clock this morning and we arrived at 2 and now we're sitting here doing this. And then it's like, okay, shit, run down there and then we have interviews, then we have a signing session and then we have the show and then we have to get in the shuttle and drive back to the airport in Nantes because we're flying home early tomorrow. So that's what it's like all summer. People go like, "Did you see the thing?" And we're like, "No," but that's cool. So we have a good reason to come back. And you know, maybe next time.
No, we gotta come.
During your show in Paris, I discovered that you made the Taratata show, as you explained in Paris and earlier. And I discovered the joke, if I can say that you wanted to sing Ratata, and they refused. So I am completely agree with you guys because I think it would be beautiful to say Ratata or Taratata. So yeah.
Taratata with a ratatata.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Like I cannot believe they didn't see the connection. I truly.
It was a big.
Maybe it was too serious. I don't know. Maybe they don't see the joke, or I don't know.
Difficult joke to get.
Yeah.
It was a hard tongue twister. I guess that's why.
I don't know the show, so I don't know the vibe on it. So, but yeah, it's
professional.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And you look into this camera like, no. Here's the camera. Like, oh shit. So it was super professional. Great show. And Nagy.
Nagy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, I heard some stories about the venue of Steven Wilson a few years ago, and it was just after the show he wanted to mix everything of the show because he wanted the perfect sound. So I don't know how it was going after, but
We just make the perfect sound like as we go.
Yeah, perfect.
Paris counts us in, and then it's gonna be perfect after that.
During this night, you made a song with Kokomo.
Sorry?
You made a song with Kokomo on Live Now.
Yes, we
with
did.
Taratata. Yeah. You met them this night, or you know them earlier?
At Taratata, I mean.
Yeah.
One day before, we actually rolled into Paris and met up for the first time.
Okay.
And we went to some rehearsal place in the outskirts of the town or the city, into like a warehouse. And we just had a really easy, like old school setup, like 2 drum kits or 1 drum kit rather, and just amps, like no in-ears, no fancy stuff. Just a couple of mics and PA, and we just played it through once, and it was like, okay, you know, and then we said, okay, let's everybody have 10 beers each, and then we played one more time just to make sure that we got it, because if we can play it then we're safe.
I know the theory.
Right. So it's kind of like the John Petrucci approach.
Yeah.
But instead of just cranking up the metronome, we just like add more alcohol and then play it again.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I finish with my principal questions, but I have few more if you want. Do you have any expectation or about the show to this afternoon?
I have no idea what to expect. Like
Yeah,
with so
me
many
never.
festivals in this summer, I think it's very much a up in the air thing. We had no idea. Like when we came to Main Square Festival, we had no idea what to expect. We just had this full fucking square of people who were willing to like just listen and listen to something new because it was obvious that they didn't know who the fuck we were. You know what I mean? Maybe they
friends because I taught them.
yeah, but maybe they saw something. There was a little bit of a hype going on, so they were like curious, and they were like, "Okay, let's check it out." And then they stayed for the whole show, and we had so many of these, especially in France this summer, where it was just beyond what we could have ever expected. And I think there's a major difference in the French audience and the Swedish audience like that, because like French audience are really open-minded that way. They come and check it out, even if you're not famous. They go like, okay, let's see what this is. In Sweden, it's more like, oh, they're not famous. Let's get the fuck out of here.
But it's really a philosophy on festival because the French people are not curious for the very underground venues, you know. If it's very underground, they don't come. They come for bigger venues or bigger festivals.
That is good to hear.
Because it's quite cheaper for some people. But yeah, if you want to, I don't know, support underground bands, you must come to a little place and yeah. Yeah.
Not going back.
No, we didn't see a
I
single
hope so.
French person.
This year was so dark and small.
So just a bonus one. Can we expect for the future collaborations with artists like Kokomo? I don't know, an album, or it was just a special occasion.
This was the first and last time.
Okay.
No.
It was so bad. So
We never see. I feel like some plans were made like during the pandemic, especially, which changed. I mean, it changed the way that people thought about stuff. Like, okay, we're like it was collaborations left and right and all over the place. And I think it's people are still kind of doing it now. I enjoy doing it if it's right. And the thing with Kokomo was just a live thing. It wasn't like writing a song together or going to the studio. It was just like, hey, Taratata asked us to play Lenny Kravitz. We played Lenny Kravitz, and it was fun. So we decided to do it for the people at our concerts, and we did it every night of the European tour, which is awesome. Yeah.
Highlight of every.
Yeah, it was
night.
great. It was awesome doing it every night.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the future, I think we're very much focused on Royal Republic and like our music and our album and our style and our thing. So that's what's gonna happen.